As of early March 2025, the conflict in Ukraine continues to evolve, marked by shifts in Russian military deployment, recruitment strategies, and adaptations in strike tactics. Recent assessments from Ukrainian military intelligence provide a detailed picture of these developments, offering insights into the challenges and adaptations on both sides of the conflict. Ukrainian military intelligence indicates a notable increase in the number of Russian soldiers operating in Ukraine and the bordering Kursk Oblast. Major General Vadim Skibitsky, deputy head of the main Military Intelligence Directorate (GUR) of Ukraine, reported that approximately 620,000 Russian soldiers are currently stationed in the region. This figure represents an increase of about 40,000 personnel compared to late 2024, underscoring Russia's continued commitment to its military operations in Ukraine. Of these 620,000 soldiers, roughly 200,000 are actively engaged in frontline combat. This substantial deployment highlights the intensity of the ongoing conflict and the significant resources Russia is dedicating to its offensive efforts. Additionally, approximately 35,000 Rosgvardia troops are stationed in rear areas, tasked with protecting critical infrastructure and maintaining security. These Rosgvardia units also represent a potential second line of defense, capable of being deployed if the situation demands. The increase in troop numbers has been a gradual process, with previous estimates indicating a steady buildup. In November 2024, Skibitsky reported around 580,000 Russian soldiers operating against Ukraine, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated in January 2025 that the total Russian force grouping in Ukraine was about 600,000 troops. The latest figures confirm a continued upward trend, reflecting Russia's persistent efforts to bolster its military presence in the region. In 2024 and early 2025, Russian authorities reportedly exceeded their military recruitment quotas. This success is likely attributable to a combination of factors, including increased financial incentives for recruits and aggressive prison recruitment efforts. However, the sustainability of these strategies remains a concern. Skibitsky reported that Russian authorities recruited 440,000 military personnel in 2024, surpassing their initial quota by 10,000. This achievement was further reinforced in January 2025, when recruitment targets were reportedly exceeded by 107%. These figures align with claims made by Russian Security Council Deputy Chairperson Dmitry Medvedev, who also stated that 440,000 recruits signed military service contracts with the Russian Ministry of Defense in 2024. A significant factor in this recruitment success was the introduction of substantial financial incentives. In July 2024, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree awarding 400,000 rubles, approximately $4,400, to anyone who signed a contract with the Russian MOD between August 1st and December 31st, 2024. This amount more than doubled the previous federal award of 195,000 rubles, approximately $2,100, providing a compelling financial incentive for potential recruits. In addition to federal incentives, Russian federal subjects offered additional regional bonuses to those who signed military service contracts in late 2024 and early 2025. However, some federal subjects have begun to reduce these regional payments following the expiration of limited-time offers, indicating that such measures are not sustainable indefinitely. Another concerning trend is the increasing reliance on recruiting individuals with criminal backgrounds. Skibitsky noted that 15% of Russian recruits in 2024 were people under criminal investigation, in prison, or serving suspended sentences. This figure is expected to rise to roughly 30% in 2025, highlighting the growing desperation to meet recruitment targets. Russian officials reported in 2024 that some prisons were being shut down due to the significant drop in the prison population resulting from these recruitment drives. More recently, Russia has been increasingly recruiting defendants in pretrial detention centers, likely as the pool of prison recruits dwindles further. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, assesses that increased military spending, including substantial payments and benefits to Russian service members, is negatively impacting the Russian economy at a macro level. Consequently, the Kremlin is reportedly reducing spending on military personnel in an effort to mitigate these economic impacts. The long-term sustainability of these high financial incentives is questionable, particularly as the Russian economy continues to face challenges. Skibitsky also pointed out that Russian authorities have adjusted their annual recruitment quotas throughout the year. Initially, the target was to recruit 375,000 to 380,000 personnel in 2024, but this number was later increased to 430,000. These adjustments likely reflect Russia's increased tempo of offensive operations in late 2024, which resulted in the highest casualty rates since early 2022. Looking ahead, Skibitsky believes that Russia's recruitment plans for 2025 will mostly allow the Russian military command to replace its battlefield losses, provided the current tempo of offensive operations and associated losses continue. However, Russian authorities will likely need to adjust their 2025 quotas, as they did in 2024, if they wish to maintain the current pace of offensive operations and continue to suffer high losses. It is unlikely that Russian authorities will be able to generate enough forces to significantly increase the tempo of Russian offensive operations in Ukraine in the near future. The crucial role of continued Western military aid cannot be overstated. Such assistance would help Ukrainian forces inflict additional losses on the Russian military, further intensifying Russia's economic and military challenges and potentially compelling Putin to make concessions during meaningful negotiations in 2025. Russian forces are continuously innovating their strike packages, increasingly leveraging larger numbers of Shahid and decoy drones to penetrate Ukraine's air defense systems. Skibitsky noted that Russian forces are now launching missiles from multiple directions and deploying between 150 and 200 drones during a single overnight strike series. This represents a significant escalation compared to previous tactics, where missiles were launched from a single direction and an average of 20 to 30 drones were used in a single overnight strike. Russian forces now alternate between launching missiles and drones to overwhelm Ukrainian air defense systems. Drones are typically launched in the evening, reaching Ukraine around 2,300 hours, with strikes continuing throughout the night and into the morning. Reports indicate that Russian forces began launching between 80 and 100 or more Shahid and decoy drones as part of their larger strike packages in October and November 2024, with the number increasing to between 100 and 200 or more in February 2025. The increased use of Shahid and decoy drones likely serves to detect and overwhelm Ukrainian air defense and mobile fire groups. The growing numbers of drones in overnight Russian strike packages suggest that Russia is not currently facing significant constraints in domestic Shahid or decoy drone production, nor in the availability of Iranian-provided components needed to manufacture Shahid drones. However, it remains uncertain whether Russia will be able to produce or source a sufficient number of components to avoid drone production constraints in the long term. While missile production has reportedly not increased significantly, Russian forces appear to be prioritizing the production of missile and drone variants that are more effective against Ukrainian air defenses. Skibitsky stated that Russia has marginally increased its missile production by a factor of 1.2 to 1.5 throughout 2024 and is redistributing its production capabilities. The focus is on producing more Kh-101 cruise missiles and fewer of the less effective caliber cruise missiles. There are also plans to increase the production of Kinzhal and Iskander-M ballistic missiles in the near future. Russian forces have rarely used caliber cruise missiles in strike packages against Ukraine in January or February 2025, primarily using them to pad larger strike packages and overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses. The GUR reported on February 18th that Russia is modernizing and increasing its production of Shahid 136 drones and producing a new Garin 3 drone variant. Some new Shahid 136 Garin 2 drones have been equipped with a new type of warhead weighing 90 kilograms, with the drone's navigation and power systems moved from the nose to the tail, and an additional ballast installed to enhance stability. Russia is increasingly relying on components manufactured in Russia, the People's Republic of China, PRC, and Iran to produce and assemble Shahid drones. The Garin 3 drone is reportedly an analog to the Shahid 238 and can fly at speeds of up to 550 to 600 kilometers per hour, with a range of 2,500 kilometers. The ISW has previously assessed that Russia likely intends to further increase its production and use of Shahid drones and other Shahid variants, following the signing of the Russian-Iranian Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement in January 2025. In conclusion, the conflict in Ukraine is marked by Russia's adaptive strategies in troop deployment, recruitment, and strike tactics. The increase in troop numbers, the reliance on financial incentives and prison recruitment, and the evolution of drone warfare all highlight the dynamic nature of the conflict and the challenges faced by both sides. Continued Western military aid remains crucial in helping Ukraine withstand Russian aggression and potentially compel Russia to negotiate a peaceful resolution.